We know Formula One attracts some of the most talented people in the motorsport world. Behind the scenes of renowned F1 teams are many engineers who keep the show going. Teams naturally seek the best for themselves. Given the sport's intense competition, each of the 10 teams want nothing but the best for itself, not just in terms of the drivers, but also the countless engineers who keep the show afloat. With so few possibilities to work in Formula One, having experience creating vehicles, which most teams seek, is quite valuable. As a result, teams scout and steal workers from their competitors to obtain a substantial competitive edge by using their experience. Yeah, we're talking about Mercedes agreeing to allow a former F1 power unit engineer to join Red Bull. Why? In today's video, let's see why talented Mercedes engineers leave for Red Bull F1. There has been much moving about in the days leading up to the new season, especially among the major teams like Mercedes, which lost some key personnel to their rival Red Bull. With everything out of the way, let's get down to business and examine why bright Mercedes engineers defect to Red Bull Racing. Hiring staff from rival teams is nothing new in Formula One, as each function strives to develop world-class teams capable of winning championships. It's not uncommon for couples to watch higher-performing teams for personnel looking for a change of pace. During the clandestine nature of each team's car production, such decisions may occasionally cause a lot of criticism. It happens rather frequently when tight secrecy rules are in place. Nevertheless, such recruitments can pay off for a team, as it did for Red Bull when they signed Adrian Newey from McLaren in his first year of racing in Formula One. And the relationship has paid off, with the team winning the Constructors' title 4 times in a row from 2010 to 2013 and resuming its prior form in the 2021 and 2022 seasons. Another example of a successful hire was Scuderia Ferrari's employment of Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne in 1996 and the suggestion of Michael Schumacher. Recently, Red Bull has adopted a proactive effort to hire more engineers as part of the company's shift to a full-fledged works team. When Honda announced its return to Formula One in 2020, Red Bull and its sister team AlphaTauri were left scrambling to find a new engine supplier. However, given their troubled relationship with former supplier Renault and their ongoing competition with Mercedes and Ferrari, the team chose to take risks and declare their goal to become self-sufficient by launching Red Bull powertrains with the assistance of Honda. Following the announcement, the team acquired Honda's engine-related intellectual property and recruited key personnel from the Japanese firm. The choice to create their power units is a significant risk for the energy drink company, which is up against some of the world's biggest automakers. Red Bull's leaving no stone unturned in pursuing its aim, invested heavily in infrastructure and human resources. Red Bull's ambition to bring all parts of its F1 operations in-house through Red Bull Powertrains is a fascinating project and a tremendously hard one, said Red Bull team principal Christian Horner. We recognize that the only way to succeed is to hire the greatest and brightest people, equip them with the proper tools, and provide them with an atmosphere in which they can thrive. Red Bull was successful in luring Mercedes HPP's head of mechanical engineering, Ben Hodgkinson, to the job of technical director of the new powertrain section as part of their strategy. You do the due diligence. You look around at the skill, we have so much of it here in the UK, and Ben's name came to the fore. Horner said of Hodgkinson's hire, "He was an easy choice for us, and I was overjoyed when he decided to join us for this exciting new chapter in Red Bull's Formula One history." To add to Mercedes' trouble, Red Bull has enlisted the help of a few more Mercedes engineers, notably from the engine department. The Milton Keynes Club aims to emulate Mercedes' 8 consecutive championship victories and get a fast start in the 2025 season. Toto Wolff, Mercedes team principal, seems unconcerned about it, saying, "We'll lose some, we'll win some, but at the end of the day, I believe in Mercedes' ideology, and I feel we're a decent employer. It's a high-pressure environment, but it's a lot of fun. That's something we can be proud of, and it's something we must rely on. It's simply another battleground like the one on the track." We understand Christian's motivation. He wants to construct a building, which sometimes means writing a huge check, but that's okay. However, Red Bull isn't the only team doing this. Aston Martin has followed in their footsteps, hiring Mercedes head aerodynamicist Aaron Grandin. Aston Martin has signed a few notable names like Dan Follows of Red Bull and Luca Ferbato of Alfa Romeo. Alpine too had its highs, with former Aston Martin team principal Otmar Szafnauer being the most noteworthy. Until Sofnar's hiring, this French squad had struggled with the lack of adequate leadership and general administration. Ferrari hired a few engineers from Mercedes and Red Bull in preparation for the 2022 season, not wanting to lose out on the fun. Now, these kind of shakeups, which have occurred in practically every team, are sure to have a rippling effect on the majority of the crew, and as a result, will have an indirect impact on the team's performance on the track. While it may not appear so at first, many drivers are affected by such changes because they have built close bonds with engineers who set up their cars and, more significantly, racing engineers who advise them throughout the Grand Prix. We get on incredibly well, and we know precisely what we want from one another and which way we want to go, said world champion Max Verstappen of his tight connection with race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase. I told him that I'd only work with him until he stops. Of course, we may be harsh with each other at times, but I also desire it. When I'm being a jerk, he has to tell me and I have to say it to him. I always told him he could say to me that on the radio, but things have been going pretty well recently. Daniel Ricciardo, Max's former teammate, also remarked about his racing engineer's resignation, citing it as one of the numerous reasons for his departure from the Red Bull. There were several factors, but losing Simon was one of them. I knew if I continued at Red Bull, he wouldn't engineer this year, and I believed I had a strong connection with him, and there were some unknowns. I felt completely at ease with them. I'm not sure if knowing he stayed would have been the determining factor, Ricciardo stated of his decision to join Renault. While none of the teams appreciates choices, they do occasionally offer doors for motivated individuals seeking a career in Formula One. For a long time, the sport has struggled with the lack of possibilities for people from underserved communities and inexperienced employees. It opens up bottlenecks for younger engineers to come up, Toto Wolff said of the benefits of this initiative. However, they have a good chance right now, and altering the organization is always good. Organizations are dynamic rather than static organs. You may be forced into such circumstances, or you may make your judgments, but in the end, you turn it into an opportunity rather than a risk. We've been gratified by the number of inquiries that we have received, said Christian Horner. Wars Red Bull's counterpart says his team has been able to pull in exceptional talent primarily because of their incredible culture. People work where they want to work. You can't make someone work where they don't want to work, and if we're an attractive place to be, and people see the racing spirit and want to be a part of it, they'll join us on the ride. Without a doubt, every member in our squad is great, and it's not a surprise that everybody will want them, Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton said of the situation. We've enjoyed a lot of success together, and I wish those who have gone on the best of luck. However, we must go on our paths and make the best judgments. We have an incredible collection of people that are still committed to winning the title. After a rocky start to their 2022 season, many fans question whether the team's abrupt drop in form is merely a coincidence or the impact of losing so many key players in the previous year. And while Mercedes is likely to rise in the championship race, their rivals have already established a stable lead for this year, which might mean the end of Mercedes Constructors' champion dominance. So, what are your thoughts on Mercedes engineers being poached by Red Bull? Will it continue to influence Mercedes' results on the track? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Never forget to subscribe to our channel. Take care.